everyone has adopted the different captain strategy across formats.
Say, for example, you have Rohit Sharma and we have Virat Kohli. And I guess Mazhar doesn't like Virat Kohli anymore. He's left the screen.
Then I would convince Kohli to just let it slide. The T20 is not important, not doing much for your career. let all these guys handle it. You take rest.
Hurting his ego is the best thing. You know how he performs when he's angry.
I was thinking just along those lines. Gui, do you think this is India's golden age when it comes to bowling?
Easily. There is no question about this.
You know, Gui, I just love how you said easily. It almost sounded like Malu, you asking me such a stupid question, man.
According to me, Mohammad Shami is the most underrated bowler in world cricket.
I think short hair Ishan Sharma is a different monster to long hair Ishan Sharma.
Ganguly used to bowl 7 overs, yeah.
Exactly.
It was madness.
Ganguly is running like this. Weird action.
Hi guys, and welcome back to an all-new episode from All About Sports, the podcast. You guys are joined by regular hosts Aniket, Mazhar, and myself, Shubham. Today's episode is going to be a very special episode. Very recently, I don't know if you guys came across this on Twitter, but very recently there's a tweet put out on Twitter welcoming two GOATs to Old Trafford. Our last GOAT that is Cristiano Ronaldo, we covered in the last episode. So please check it out. It'll be in the links below. And the other GOAT that we're going to talk about is Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli has definitely been one of the best ever cricketers of all time, or perhaps one of the best batsmen of all time. He, as a captain for Team India, has been magnificent, especially in the last two tests with his performance in Australia, with the test performance in England, and overall just the sort of work ethic that he has, and in fact, a funny similarity between the mindset of both these goats are like they're just like they expect the best out of themselves. They'll push themselves. Their fitness is one of the best in the team. Their stats are amazing. They just have the elite mentality. But today, let's deep dive into Virat. Let's analyze his successes, the kind of player he has been, and where he's currently standing in his career. So to start off with, Mazhar, I would just like if you can give us an overview about what you think of Virat as a cricketer, as a captain, and how you would analyze his career up until today. You're on mute.
I had a gooey moment right now. but so the main thing I think about Virat Kohli was that I think it started with Saurav Ganguly, the entire fearlessness that he brought to Indian cricket, the fact that he managed to go to other countries like Australia and that time even South Africa back in the day, England, and he always went for a victory. So he managed to earn draws in series, which was a huge deal back in the day. Then we saw Dhoni as captain as well, very successful, not as much in test cricket as he would have liked, but still got India to that world number one test ranking. Then Kohli learned from the best, right? We saw him actually being mentored perfectly by Dhoni, and that's helped him in a lot of ways. We've seen him mature. He still has a few of his on-field antiques where he just, how aggressive he is and all of that. But sometimes it's funny. Most of the times it's cool because we're giving it back to the teams that have always, like managed to get under our skins and have managed to banter us completely. So now we have players who are very confident in speaking in English as well, so they give it back. So Indian cricket has progressed a lot thanks to obviously the money being put in, and Kohli's been at the good end of that, at the best end of that, because of his success as a player. He had experience of captaining the under 19 side, so everyone knew he had that those leadership qualities anyway. But like you said, Shubham, what we are going to cover, the main question is this it now for Kohli in terms of like how far he can progress, right? Because he has been the most consistent batsman till, let's say, over the last year or so. It's been what, 51 innings now, 50 innings, where he hasn't scored a century across all formats. And that's absurd to think about it, right? People who go through slumps also, I'm talking about average players or players not even up to the caliber of Virat Kohli, 50 innings for a first team batsman who plays every game is just unheard of. And it gets me thinking a lot as to, whether he's actually now, is captaincy weighing heavily on him, in a sense that, like, because now everyone's expecting India to win when they go abroad. Before it was like, oh, can they challenge England? Can they challenge Australia? They've already exceeded all those expectations. They've come back from the dumps to win test matches. The Gabba test, then I mean all of these epic moments we've seen in with Kohli's new team. So is that the reason why his performance is suffering? Or is it just like, again, like a Wayne Rooney sort of situation, right? Peak too early. I'm starting to think of that, yeah. Because Joe Root is again performing consistently. Even he had a slump, but he's come out of it. And you saw first 3 tests, he scored centuries in all those tests against India. Kane Williamson just keeps scoring runs. And we've always spoken about Joe Root, Virat Kohli, and Kane Williamson in the same bracket, right? And now also that guy, what's his name from Pakistan? Babar Azam. Yeah, so even he's in that criteria now. Like it's 4 of these guys, and Kohli's been way off it. So I'm just worried in terms of, I'm not sure what it is, but that, like, seeing him just playing and chasing that outside off stump ball in test match cricket is very shocking, because Kohli is some guy who immediately corrects his mistakes and doesn't fall prey to the same delivery or get out on the same way in the next match. Never has it happened. And it's been happening consistently. So I don't know what it is, man. Honestly, I would love to get your Gui's opinion and your opinion on it, Shubham.
Yeah, so one thing that you mentioned about how he has learned from Saurabh Ganguly and Dhoni also mentoring the T20 team and being around Dhoni. So he's learned to pick up aggression from Ganguly, because Ganguly was an aggressive captain, and how to be cool and composed from Dhoni. So I think that's a great point. And for him to be Indian captain, having the experience and seeing it like firsthand, I think that's definitely helped him. But one thing which I think is very interesting, like how we started the podcast by talking about two goats. Like I'm coming to Gui with this. So Gui, like we have always seen Ronaldo constantly being questioned. Like, is this it? Is this it? Can this guy do any more? Has he hit his peak? Is he going to decline? And now we are discussing Kohli. Has he hit his peak? Is it like too much stress on him? Is it mental fatigue? Is it has he peaked too early? Like how Mazhar mentioned, it's the Wayne Rooney situation. What do you think about Virat? Like Mazhar mentioned, for the last 50 innings, he hasn't performed the way he's supposed to. He's making mistakes, like repeated mistakes again and again. So what's your take on him?
So I think this conversation in sports is one of the most fun conversations, and at the same time one of the most limited in its use, right? Because every time you spot someone doing well, the only question comes is, there are only two questions: is this it, or is this person going to excel even more? So which is, well, it's kind of human nature of how we generally view things. But people did it to Kohli after his poor England series also in what, 2014, 14, 15 sometime, I think. And that was when he was, I think, 4 or 6 years into the international scene. 6 years on, after he has matured, so to speak, with 11 hundreds in 2017 and another 11 in 2018. I think people are questioning it again, but I don't think it's much of any use. These are not the kind of guys who are waiting for people's opinion or take on them. Now when it comes down to just sheer numbers, I think, let me see how many games, right? The 50 games he's played, so as probably 2020 and 21, considering how much cricket has been played in the last 2 years. In test matches, they've played 21 games. By they I mean, sorry, Kohli's played 21 games in the last 2 years. He's played another 12 ODIs, which seems surprisingly low, and another 14 T20 internationals, right? T20s aren't really the place where you score hundreds. He's played fewer ODIs than tests, and he's had, like, I think, what he's had Australia and England in those 20 odd tests. generally not the place where batsmen are scoring their hundreds. Another thing, like, because I'm trying to address this one point.
The headline, so to speak, that he hasn't scored a century in 50 innings. But these aren't the most conducive places to score centuries. He has played a ton of cricket in India also. I'm not trying to justify this, but uh, is he washed? He's 32, all right. Ponting, who has like one century more than him, played for 17 years. He's played for about 13 odd years. Kohli, 13 or 14. Sangakkara has played for 15 years, 7 fewer centuries. Sachin's longevity, let's not talk about for how many years he just continued batting. But that's my point. Like 32 is not like a washed-ish age for an international batsman of, especially of Kohli's caliber. He's not hit a purple level, a purple patch or a god level patch now or even in the past. Like that 2017-18 when he scored 11 centuries and he was, the most talked about player, and has since been, even after his decline. It says a lot, about what kind of expectations he faces. And coming to like India doing well, I mean, I don't think it's personally down to just him. This is the finest bowling attack we've ever had. Like in all of the cricket I've ever watched, this is probably the only time where I feel that you can rely on India's bowlers to you know completely turn a match around or to dominate from the get go. Like that's about it. And now suddenly I have expectations on them batting also, which was never the case. So I don't think there is any washed uh, category debate for Kohli as of now. It's too early. I understand that he's played a lot of cricket. India has played a lot of cricket over the last 2 years. Not getting a century is a big deal for a player of his caliber. It's huge. Like the thing that you played 50 games and you've had some solid test performances also, but not having a century, I don't think people should be putting that much weight into it. Like it's fine as long as the win is there in a team sport. Thumbs up.
Do you guys think, and I'm opening this question to both of you all, if he's captain all the formats, and I think Rohit Sharma is a cricketer who's been exceptional. He has been playing very well. Do you think if making Rohit Sharma captain in one of the formats and reducing the burden on Kohli would increase his longevity? And the reason I ask this is because how Gui mentioned that he's already 32, and there are very few cricketers who post the age of 32 have really maintained that level and gone on and gone on. And we won't count Sachin into this because he's just an exception. But to increase his longevity and to make sure that he keeps performing for India, perhaps reducing his mental stress of being captain in all three formats. Do you guys like just think that would help him?
Honestly, it could simply be like Gui actually put it in a very realistic perspective, saying playing against Australia and England is the hardest, but not scoring a century in India is also very surprising. But coming back to that point, I think he loves captaincy, but I also do think it does weigh heavily. Even subconsciously, it might be, even if he thrives under that pressure. Rohit Sharma's a great captain in T20s at least. And like you said, Shubham, he's performed in every format. Now he finally scored his first century outside of India as well. So he's definitely looking super solid. Another guy who's super experienced. Definitely, I would just give Rohit Sharma the T20 captaincy to give Kohli that bit of freedom to go out there and enjoy a bit more in T20s. I know they don't care much about it, but given that how highly competitive Kohli is, maybe him taking a backseat then and not having to deal of that pressure of oh, who should I bowl now? Where should I put this fielder? Maybe then he can take a step back. So I definitely think it will help if he's not a captain in all three formats. Obviously, he should play T20s because he's a terrific opener in that. And Rohit Sharma and Kohli as an opening pair, or Rahul Kohli or Rohit Rahul, whatever, doesn't matter. It's just that three threatens to score 150 runs on their own every game. So I definitely am on that bandwagon of making Rohit Sharma T20 captain because I want to see how Kohli then performs. It might definitely help him generally as well. Yeah. So that's my take.
So what I think is it might just backfire also. He doesn't seem like the guy who doesn't want to be captain, right? There have been many instances in the past where people have just, said, sorry, I can't be captain of this team. Because it's too much. And this guy isn't one to back down. I think, I just always felt like he was eager to be the captain. And unless it's done with a, good heart or, through his blessing that he wants uh, someone else to be captain, at least in a single format, I don't know how it'll play for him. Like, hopefully it's good, like whatever, whichever way it goes, but doesn't seem like the kind to, you know, take it lying down if the captaincy is snatched from him. That's what I
We,
have an
the
inkling.
fact that you said this,
Sorry, just one thing I wanted to add. India is the only country where the
All-
only cricket team that has the same captain for all three formats. Literally, everyone has adopted the different captain strategy across formats. So and most countries have different captains for all three formats, and we just have Kohli here captaining all three. So maybe definitely we should change it up. I definitely am for that.
and Gui, because you mentioned that taking away captaincy from Kohli without like he happily giving it up could be an issue, and totally like with these top players, they have very like big egos, and their egos can get hurt very quickly. But because you said this, yeah, sure, go ahead.
Shobham had fragile or I read the fragile ego. And it is big is safe. You don't want to say my
Yeah. Man, that was a good catch. But what I was trying to get at is, and the question I'm posing to both of you guys is, say for example, you have Rohit Sharma and we have Virat Kohli, and I guess Mazhar doesn't like Virat Kohli anymore. He's left the screen and he's back again. So we have Rohit Sharma and we have Virat Kohli. Rohit Sharma also wants to become captain, and that guy has been performing well. Virat Kohli doesn't want to give up captaincy. As a selector, what would you guys do? Because both of them are very important. Both of them have fragile egos. Both of them have big egos, and also both of them, I would believe, are indispensable to the squad. So, as selectors, if both of you guys were selectors and both of them are fighting for captaincy, what would you guys do? Go first.
So just see T20s in India, Rohit is anyway captain because Kohli doesn't turn up, right? Like not in the squad. We don't play these games. We don't care enough. So that bit is sorted. Then I would convince Kohli to just let it slide. The T20 is not important, not doing much for your career. let all these guys handle it. You take rest, take light, chill with your family. Do what you feel like. Let Rohit have this because I really do think Rohit has done really well as the T20 captain whenever he's again T20 captain only in India, right? Has he captained abroad? I think not. Like any abroad tour, Kohli is ever present. I will play every game, every match, every second. But yeah, it's fine. Like I don't think it's gonna cause much of a stir again.
No. See, I'll put this question across again. See, the thing is, none of them are ready to back down. So, whose ego would you guys as selectors be happy to like hurt and give this guy captaincy? Like, do you all think
Definitely
if it would come to
Rohit.
a stage like that, what would you all do?
Definitely Rohit. Like 100% Rohit. Because anyway, his ego is currently being hurt in that scenario. He's-
I would actually take the opposite approach. I would leave out Kohli as captain, and because hurting his ego is the best thing. You know how he performs when he's angry.
I was thinking just along those lines.
I would definitely drop Kohli as captain, and then he'll be like MCBC, and then he'll go hit 150 in the next match. That's what you want, yeah. So
Yeah, sometimes
maybe
you
I
just
would.
need a trigger.
Sometimes you need a trigger for sure. So do that. And I mean, like Indians in general, like Indian cricketers, whenever they've been angry, we've seen them perform their best. Like we've seen Dravid get angry once against Pakistan, if I'm not wrong, and he got so angry and he smacked that guy in the next over. I think it was 5 fours in the next over or something. And this is Dravid we're talking about. So don't mess with Indians. We saw Bumrah and Shami also in the last test, in the third test, when they pulled off that crazy partnership to help us get to that massive score, and then we ended up getting them all bowled out. So don't mess with Indians, especially not Kohli, man. You get him angry, you're finished, because that just brings out the best in him. So I would definitely, as a selector, take that decision, because especially given his slump, right? So the best way for Kohli to get back and send a fuck you to the selectors would be going out there, scoring a century, then sending a flying kiss to Anushka, and then silencing everyone else.
No, I'm in total agreement with you out here. I think a person like Kohli, perhaps dropping him out of being captain of one of the formats could definitely stir this guy up and get some amazing performances that we want from him. And talking about Kohli and in general about the Indian team. See, Indian team, even historically, they've had great battings. They've been great batting sides. We've had some of the most phenomenal batsmen. Past we had Sehwag and Sachin and Ganguly and Dravid and Lakshman. And today's also batting lineup is amazing. But what I want to talk to you guys about is the bowling. The bowling has improved drastically, and we have some really, really good bowlers, and that is visible with what happened in England. So, what do you guys in general think about the Indian team strength, squad strength, and especially I want you to focus on bowling? Mazhar, what's your take on it?
I think currently we have the best bowling attack in the world. There's no doubt, because you just look at the depth as well, right? According to me, Mohammad Shami is the most underrated bowler in world cricket. Most underrated bowler. The guy comes in every time and delivers wickets at crucial moments. He's great. He's the great supporting act to a Bumrah. And the other good thing about Shami is he mostly stays fit. So I think those are two important factors. That when you strike bowlers are fit most of the time, and they come steaming in, are very consistent with their line and length, it just changes everything. The best part about the bowling attack is the support system that we have, right? We have Umesh Yadav, who I know people don't like him much. I'm a big fan of him personally. I think he does the job, and for tests, he's really good, because you don't need to be really consistent. You can be a bit erratic in tests, because you can bowl a few looseners and you can get away with it. You can bowl a few wides down the leg side. You're not going to get called for wide. You can bowl slightly more outside the off stump, and it's okay. They'll mostly leave the ball. So in that sense, I think Umesh Yadav's great. Ishant Sharma is, I mean, he's evergreen. Honestly, I wasn't a big fan of him at the beginning, but as he became older and more experienced, we really saw how valuable he was.
I think short hair Ishant Sharma is a different monster to long hair Ishant Sharma.
I agree. Like, I think short hair Ishant Sharma made him also realize that I think his hair was covering him when he was bowling, so he was losing his line and length. But also coming back to that, our spinners, Ashwin, Jaddu, we thought we'll never see another Kumble success, right? And Kumble and Harbhajan. Then we got these two. So luckily, our bowling has been unblemished in a lot of ways. Ashwin, Jadeja were 1 and 2 in bowling for so long. Let's not forget that also. So from Dhoni's time, going into Kohli's time, then we don't imagine our bowling is so strong that we don't even have Bhuvaneshwar Kumar in this team. Yeah. So when you think about that, and Bhuvi could technically walk into almost any side apart from maybe Australia, I would say, in terms of bowling at the moment, and maybe South Africa, because Nortje and Rabada and Feluquayo, they're all top bowlers as well. So, but that's the level, man. So 100%, we'll never see a better bowling attack, I think, ever than we have currently for India. But but I have to mention that cred ad with Srinath and Venkatesh Prasad. In the 90s, we were the OGs.
Absolutely.
So we've grown up with that. So obviously good memories, but there's no comparison still. Yeah.
I really wish I could say right now. I really wish I could say right now that this video has been sponsored by Cred, but it's not sponsored by Cred, guys. Coming to Gui, do you think this is India's golden age when it comes to bowling?
Easily. There is no question about this. and I don't think anyone even wants.
Gui, I just love how you said easily. It almost sounded like Malu, you asking me such a stupid question, man.
That was not the intention. But look, even when we had good strike bowlers, uh, there was inconsistency. There were just two of them. There was a lot of part-time bowling. The Sehwag and Sachin used to bowl five overs each. Then got replaced with the Raina who was bowling 10 overs at times, 5 overs. And
Ganguly used to bowl
Ganguly
7 overs. Yeah,
yeah,
it was
exactly.
madness.
Ganguly is running like this. Weird action. And the ball,
Man, no, but sorry,
the
finish.
ball
finish.
would
Then
just
I'll-
float in the air. Ganguly's ball was floating in the air. And I mean, that also had its own charm and that was getting wickets. I don't know how. All right. Go on.
So there was medium fast and medium pace bowlers, right? Ganguly was slow medium. He wasn't that great.
Oh, God.
Which reminds me, Gui, of that Kohli's interview also. They asked, when will you roll your hand again? He's like, I hope I don't ever have to do it again.
Yeah. Because he has that odd action. I don't know what it is. Like two arms are like swinging. And because you say he has an odd action when we have Bumrah in the team. Excuse me. They're calling that an odd action and not Bumrah. Bumrah ठीक है चलो fast तो डालता है. He walks and he bowls fast. He walks. Where we really got lucky is some of the guys who started in the mid 2000s or late 2000s are still around. Like so, Jaddu, Ashwin, Ishant. Ishant is still around. A fast bowler has had like a 12-13 year career. All right, and this guy has bowled a lot. I remember when
100 tests, man. He's
And
crossed
young
100 tests.
young Ish, I remember this very vividly. I think I sent across a picture also because I was watching the highlights of this some game in England. Ishan. So earlier they used to have this one like small runner at the bottom of the screen when a bowler just came on, right? Names, strike rate, this, that, strike rate, wow, average, economy, blah blah, everything. Interests. It
Punjabi music.
listening to Punjabi music. And these are the kind of guys who we were like, will he ever? Okay, he'll bowl, but will he ever be able to hold a bat? Because that was becoming an issue then. Now our bowlers are batting. That okay, Shardul is batting. Ashwin could always bat. Shami just flat bat 4 after 4 in England. Bumrah can hold them off for a while, and we were happy when Kumble somehow managed to get 100. And I'm not saying like one of these guys is going to get 100 soon, but now it's become the expectation. So the bowling unit, even if like a top batting order of KL, Rohit, Kohli falters, there is some cover. There is some cover at least, which we were lacking for a very long time. And again, Bumrah and company can do what they did in the fourth test also, right? Second innings of the fourth test, bowl 148, straight swinging in, Yorker, bowled, no question.
Guys, before we come to a close to this episode, you guys mentioned that Ishant Sharma has played 100 tests, and 100 tests is no joke. Now, I don't know if this is my own ignorance, but you guys being cricket experts, why is it that Ishant Sharma is not mentioned in the same line like Zaheer Khan or someone like that? Is it that Zaheer Khan was a much better bowler, or like what is it? Like I'm sure Ishant also playing 13 years and 100 tests. You have to be insane to be continuously selected in the Indian team when we have a mad bowling lineup. So just because I thought of this question, why do you guys think this is the case?
I think Zach peaked around the same time between the 2007 and 11 World Cup where we won, and then it fizzled. So that was Zach's peak. Like so, he was front and center of the bowling unit when we were winning the World Cups. So which is why, and Ishant was the young gun at that point. So which is why I think because Zach played the 2003 World Cup also, where he was like at that moment he was what Ishant was, the young and upcoming pacer of the Indian unit. Uh, so he peaked around that time, which is why I feel like he gets a lot of plaudits for deservedly so. Deservedly so. Even after he lost the pace, he was taking so many wickets. It was just too much fun.
Yeah, personally, I think Zach was the only strong bowler we had at that point in time, right? When he peaked, like Gui said. So the four, and he was always at the fore. And let's not forget, ODIs that time were much more popular than tests. And that time the advent of T20s was also really early, right? So in that's why I think Ishan Sharma gets ignored, because test match cricket is not that followed. But for test fans, we know how valuable he's been. That one spell against England, man, he shattered them. Those 7 wickets in that one session where he just went crazy, insane. I'll never forget that. So, yeah, another underrated bowler. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think with that we wrap up our cricket episode on the Indian bowling, Virat Kohli, captaincy, and yeah, I think all of us as Indian fans are kind of dejected about the fact that the fifth test is not happening. But I'm sure there'll be a lot of cricket to catch up during this year. And thank you for all our viewers and listeners for tuning in. Please let us know in the comments below, what do you guys think about Virat's recent performances? Do you think he's peaked? Do you think a little bit of captaincy needs to be taken away from him to give him so that he can focus more on his batting? Please let us know in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe. You'll know the drill. Stay tuned. Our website is live, so check it out. We have some amazing blogs written out there with a lot of sports content, and we'll be regularly updating our website. And stay tuned for more episodes. Till then, bye, guys.
If you like this episode, make sure to leave a like and share it with anyone else who might be interested. You can also subscribe on any social media platform that you prefer, and all our links are in the bio. We also have a website with all our episodes as well as blogs and a whole lot of other sports content, so make sure to check that out as well.